Hi there. Hi, my Activate kiddos. It is Miss Emily here. I'm back in a familiar location, back in our parlor at church. Just wanted to hop on here quick today to talk to you about another characteristic of Jesus that we've been talking about in the past couple of weeks and let you know that I miss you, and I hope that your family is planning on attending drive-in church again this Sunday, the 28th, because I would love to see you there. So real quick, if you don't have any plans, come on Sunday morning at both 9 and 11 o'clock a.m. right here in our parking lot. You can come and you can have just a great time of worship together. I'm going to have goodie bags for you. It's going to be pretty cool. Our last one was pretty great, so I would love to see you there. But even if you can't make it, I'm going to be talking about the same lesson today with you as you'll find in your goodie bags there on that Sunday. And if you didn't know, we've been talking about these different characteristics of Jesus. So for today's lesson, you don't need anything. You can just watch me and talk with me and hang out. And then if you come Sunday, you can grab your goodie bag. But today we're talking about a new characteristic. And maybe when I say this, you're going to be like, I didn't know Jesus did that, right? We've talked about how Jesus is playful. We've talked about how Jesus was an outlaw. We talked about how Jesus has done things that were so unexpected. Today is another characteristic where when you think of Jesus, it's probably not the first thing that comes to mind. It's another characteristic that's going to make you go, huh. Today's characteristic when we talk about Jesus is the word, are you ready? Anger. What? Jesus was angry? How is that okay? How is that possible? Today, boys and girls, we are talking about anger. So real quick, I want you to think about what makes you angry. Can you think about something maybe in your life that makes you angry? Something maybe that you've done or you've seen that just really gets you so mad? Maybe it's something that somebody has done to you or said to you, something that you felt. What makes you angry? Let me see your angry face. There's lots of different things that can make us angry, aren't there? Sometimes maybe our siblings make us angry. Sometimes maybe our friends make us angry. You know, there's lots of different times when we might feel angry. Maybe with this whole virus going around and this really weird time, you've been angry about the things that you've missed out on. Maybe you've been angry that you couldn't do those things, or angry that you haven't been able to see your friends, or angry that stuff didn't happen the way it was supposed to. You can just ask Pastor David and he can tell you the things that make me angry, because I don't get angry very often, but there are a few things that do tend to make me angry, right? Because we're human and anger is a part of that, right? And just like you and I are human, Jesus was also human, remember? He was God, but he was also man, and he came to earth as a baby at Christmas. So he was human. He experienced all human emotion. So that's why we can say Jesus was angry. And there's actually several examples of times in the Bible and things that I'm going to show you today where Jesus was mad. He was angry, and people knew it. They didn't have to guess. But first, we're going to talk about this balloon right here, all right? So maybe you have blown up a balloon before. I'm going to do that for us right now. I'm going to blow up this fun purple balloon as we talk about our anger, all right? So let's pretend that this balloon is us. Maybe it's like our heart or our mind, but this balloon is going to represent some of those feelings that we have. So let's pretend that it's one day and we are walking to school and somebody is yelling mean things at us. Maybe the bully is standing out in the corner saying mean things. Maybe you ride a bus to school and there's somebody on your bus that's making fun of you. That would make me feel angry. So let's blow up our balloon. There's a little bit of anger, okay? Now let's think that we get to school and our best friend isn't there that day and they promised that they were gonna sit with us at lunch, and that just makes us a little bit more angry. Then maybe we go out to recess we're outside and it starts to rain. And so we have to go inside because it's raining really hard. There's lightning and thunder. Our teacher makes us come inside. Make me angry. Then we get inside. Surprise! You've got a spelling test that you didn't study for. You don't know what kind of words are going to be on it, and you're feeling kind of stressed. Makes you feel a little bit angry, doesn't it? Then you get home from school. You've had a rough day. You are just looking to relax, to hang out, not have to do anything. But as soon as you get in the door, your mom says, put your backpack away, put your shoes away, start your homework right away because we've got a really busy night and I need you to go, 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 go. And you're like, Mom, I just want to sit down. And so you and your mom start to have this little bit of an argument. You get in trouble. You get sent to your room. Make you angry? Look how big our balloon's getting. That's a lot of anger. Then after dinner, your mom has made these delicious cupcakes and you were looking at them all day the day before, and your mom said after dinner tomorrow you could have a cupcake and you're so excited to have it. My favorite cupcake is funfetti. Good stuff. And you go to get your cupcake, you put your dishes in the sink, you go to the cupcake platter, and your brother has just eaten the last cupcake. Uh-oh. You're getting pretty angry, huh? Look at all of that anger in this balloon. Check it out. Finally, it's bedtime, and you've just had the day, the really bad, really horrible day, one of the worst days you've ever had. Nothing has gone right. You just feel so angry. You don't know what to do. You're so upset. So you go to take a shower, and guess what? Your sister used all the hot water, and there's no hot water left for you to have a shower. Are you ready? Let's see if we can add some more anger in here. Oh no. What happened when there was so much anger inside? That balloon popped, didn't it? Did I scare you? The balloon popped. It kind of scared me too, right? There was so much anger in that balloon that it just popped. And maybe you've been there. Maybe you've had a day just like that day I described to you, and you just let yourself pop. You let yourself explode with anger. And maybe in your anger, you did some things that you shouldn't have done. Maybe in your anger, you've yelled at somebody or hurt somebody. Maybe you punched a wall and made a hole. Maybe you punched a friend and hurt them. Whatever our anger has caused us to do, sometimes we explode like that balloon, and it's not a good thing. So boys and girls, when we talk about anger, we're not talking about this kind of anger that makes you do these bad things and feel these bad ways, right? We're talking about an anger that's a little bit different, because when we talk about Jesus's anger, we're talking about what we're going to call is righteous anger, righteous indignation, if you want the big word for it, right? But righteous anger. And it's a different kind of anger, because the Bible tells us that even when we're angry, even if we feel like that balloon and we're so stretched, when we're angry, it's okay to be angry. But it's not okay to do bad things in our anger. Let me share that verse with you. That verse is out of the book of Ephesians, and it's chapter 4, verse 26, and this is what it says. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. So, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to have all those things happen to you. Getting called names, people being mean to you, your best friend's not there, all those things we talked about, right? Not studying for a test. It's okay to have all of those angry feelings that come along with it. Your brother takes a cupcake, your sister takes the hot water. It's okay, boys and girls, to have those angry feelings. It's okay to feel angry. Jesus felt angry. What's not okay is to explode from that anger. It's not okay, like the Bible just said, to sin in our anger. It's not okay to do hurtful things with our anger. And in our story today, you're going to see where Jesus is angry, but he doesn't let it pop him. He doesn't let that anger take over. So boys and girls, it's not anger that's our problem. It's not being angry, being mad, being upset that's the problem. Those feelings, they're okay. They're part of life. What's the problem is when we let those feelings take over us and we do bad things. We sin. We make mistakes. What we've got to learn to do is take our anger to God and to give God our anger instead of letting it pop us, to let it go. To let our anger go and give it to God and pray about it, talk to him about it. Let God have that anger and not sin in our anger, right? So our story today comes out of the book of Mark, and this is right after Jesus has rode his donkey into Jerusalem, and everybody is so excited to see him. Do you remember the big parade they had for him right before Easter, right? Jesus comes in, and he comes into the temple, and he's just seen all his friends. It's Holy Week. It's Passover time. It's a good time. And he comes into the temple, into the church, and it's not a good time anymore. Let's check out what happens. It says, this is Mark chapter 11, verse 15. And this is what Pastor David is talking about at Drive-In Church too, so check it out. On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple courts, and he began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables and the money changers and the benches, and he pushed everybody out. He wouldn't allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. And he taught to them, he said, "Isn't it written that my house will be called a house of prayer for the nations? But you have made it a den of robbers." The chief priests and the teachers of the law heard this, and they began looking for ways to kill him, for they feared him because the whole crowd was amazed at his teaching. Now, you might be a little bit confused about what's going on in this story here, because church doesn't really look like that this way for us anymore, right? But back then, boys and girls, when you went to church, instead of bringing money as your offering, you would maybe bring an animal or some kind of small thing to sacrifice as your offering. So sometimes people brought doves. There were different kinds of animals, different kinds of things that people would bring in to church, to the temple courts, right, outside the church, and they would bring them in and they would give them to God, right? But some people, if they didn't have those things, they could buy them when they got to church. So if you forgot your offering, you could buy it when you got there. The problem was that the men who were selling the animals for sacrifice, for offering, were not being fair with their money. And so they were lying and kind of cheating people out of money. And they were making prices way too high. They were kind of swindling people, right? And selling things at much too high a costs and really ripping people off is what they were doing. So when Jesus got there and he saw this, he looked around and he said, "This is not how my Father's house should be treated," right? Because Jesus is God's son. We call church the Lord's house, God's house, right? So God's house should not have people lying and cheating and stealing from each other in it, should it? How would you feel if you came to church and people were lying and stealing and cheating on you? Not good. So Jesus was angry. But Jesus didn't sin in his anger. He didn't do something that was wrong and hurtful in his anger. He did flip their tables. He did chase them out, right? But he did it because it was wrong. Boys and girls, when you're angry about something that's wrong, it's okay. It's okay to be angry if your best friend gets called a mean name. It's okay to be angry when you see the hatred and the hurt in this world. It's okay to be angry when wrong things are being done. And so just like Jesus, it's okay to stand up for what's right in your anger, right? So Jesus right away is like, "What are you doing? This can't happen." And he stopped everybody from taking their stuff across the courts, right? He stopped all the merchandise and he said, "My house is to be called a house of prayer for the nations, but you have made it into a den, into a place of robbers." Yikes. I bet those people felt bad, didn't they? Right here, we see that Jesus got angry. We see that he stood up for what's right. You and I are called to do the same thing. When we see something that's not right, we're called to stand up to try to make a difference. In fact, I talked with some of our chapel kids today this week at TCC actually, at Trinity Childcare. We talked about the armor of God this week. And there's a really important part in that armor of God at the very beginning, right? It says in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 13, therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when evil comes, you can stand your ground. The Bible wants us, Jesus wants us to stand up for what's right. When we see an injustice, when we see something that's wrong, somebody not being treated fairly, we should stand up. We should say, hey, that's not okay. And if we get a little angry about it, as long as we're not sinning, as long as we're not hurting anybody, it's okay to be angry about that injustice. We're kind of seeing a lot of that happen in our world today, aren't we? Where people are standing up and saying, it's not okay that people are being treated this way. It's not okay that this is happening in our world. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to stand up. You should stand up for what's right. Just do it the right way, like Jesus, standing up for what's right out of love, right? And this verse goes on to say how you should put on all the different parts of the armor of God. And we talked about that with our chapel kids this week because they were doing a whole medieval theme on knights, and it was really cool, right? But talked about how we need to have the belt of truth, right? We need to know what's right, and the breastplate of righteousness. There's all these different pieces to the armor of God, right? The helmet of salvation. We need to have the sword of the Spirit, which is our Bible, right? We need to have our feet, our boots ready for action, ready to spread the word. This kind of cool imagery tells us to be prepared, stand firm, because guess what? There's gonna be things in your life that make you mad. There's gonna be things in your life that hurt your feelings. There's gonna be things in your life that you don't like. It's part of life. But the Bible tells us that God's always gonna be with us. And he gives us this armor to help us stand firm and to know what's right. We just have to listen and be like Jesus and stand up for what's right and not sin in our anger. So here's a challenge for you. Are you ready? The next time you're angry, and I know it's gonna happen because we all get angry. Maybe it's gonna happen this week. Maybe it's gonna happen as soon as you turn my video off. I don't know, right? But the next time you feel angry, I want you to stop, think about that balloon exploding, and make a choice, because you do have a choice. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, I was just so angry, I couldn't help it. The anger made me do it. You have a choice to control your anger, to control those feelings. Remember the fruits of the Spirit? Remember self-control? You have a choice to either do wrong things with your anger and take it out on other people, explode like that balloon, or you have a choice to not sin in your anger and to be angry and to, just like that balloon, to let it go and give it to God. So boys and girls, I challenge you that when you're angry, do the right thing. You may feel kind of confused, kind of stuck, but there's always a choice. And there's always a different choice you can make that might be better, right? That might help you to do the right thing. And when you see something that is wrong, stand up for that friend. Stand up for that older person. Stand up for your sibling, right? But do it like Jesus, in a way that is helpful, that is kind, that is truthful. Because what Jesus shared was, yeah, the Lord's house isn't supposed to be treated like that. He was speaking the truth. Even though he was angry about it, he was still standing up for what was right. So that's my challenge to you. And if you have any fun stories about how you stood up and did the right thing, I would love to hear it, because I know that I've got a bunch of awesome warriors for Jesus out there who've got their armor on, who are fighting the good fight and standing up and doing what's right. And I always love to hear from you. So let's pray together. And I'm going to pray that we remember to not do wrong or hurtful things in our anger, and to be like Jesus and to stand up for what's right. Let's pray. Jesus, thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for all the boys and girls, the moms and dads who are tuning in and hearing this video right now. Jesus, I pray we would always remember that you're with us, that you've given us all the tools that we need to make the right decisions. And Jesus, I pray whatever kinds of emotions we're feeling, whether they're anger or sadness or disappointed, that we would make a good choice even when we feel bad, that we would make a good choice in our anger not to do harm, not to do wrong, but to let it go and to give it to you. I pray that in our anger we won't sin, but that even if we're angry, we will make a good choice. And I pray for all the boys and girls out there who are trying so hard to make those choices, that they can stand up for what's right and remember that it's okay to be angry, but to follow your example of standing up for what's right and not being harmful with our anger. So I pray for each and every person that's listening that they would remember that and remember that you love them and you're always, always with them. Amen. I hope you had fun today watching me explode some balloons, right? It was kind of crazy, kind of fun. But I hope that you have an awesome, awesome week. And I do hope to see you at Drive-In Church. Stay tuned because we are going to have more Drive-In Churches throughout the summer. So if you're watching this and it's after Sunday the 28th, don't worry. We're going to get together again on July 12th so you can come and you can see us again for Drive-In Church. And one more plug. This is our VBS shirt from last year. Roar for Jesus. Stay tuned because we are going to have VBS again this year, boys and girls, in August. It's going to be August 3rd through the 7th. And I know I've said that a couple times, but I really want to see you with me, have you join us. So save that date and stay tuned for more information because we are going to have a really awesome VBS. We're not going to let this summer and all these changes change the fact that we want to see you and we want to have just an awesome time with Jesus with you. So save that date. And be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, the ActivateKidz channel, so that you can see every video we put out and all the videos we share. There's a new video every Friday because I love you so much. So subscribe so that you can always get the latest updates and hang out with us every week. I hope you have a great week, and I can't wait to tell you what characteristic we're going to learn about Jesus next week. But I'm not going to tell you yet. You're going to have to join in next time. Have a fantastic week, boys and girls, and I'll catch you later. Bye.